Hi, everyone, and welcome to Truth Camp. I'm your host, Crystal Giznichek, with my co-host and wife, Sarah. We believe that there is something you can learn from everyone and want to help share these truths to help inspire and motivate. Thank you for spending time with us today. Now let's get started.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Truth Camp with myself, my wife, Mr. Biscuits, and
Mr.
we
Butter.
are here with Butter's mother-in-law.
Hello.
And the social media queen herself, Kristen O'Donnell.
I'm blushing.
Oh, shit. That's so funny. The anxiety. No, it's going to be a
Yes.
good episode where we can talk about all about Kristen.
All about Kristen. She thought it was just about work.
They tricked me to get me here.
We tricked you and didn't give you like any outline of anything. We're like, just come on and talk. It's going to be
Yes.
great.
So really winging it.
So why don't you pretend that no one knows who you are and introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Kristen. I've been doing hair for 10 years and I work with Sarah. I'm a mom to a 3.5-year-old Wesson and married my husband Josh, and I don't know. I don't know where else to go. I don't know what direction to go with this. So,
Oh, my cheeks hurt already.
yes, I'm on social media a lot. If I'm not at work or at home, well, when I'm at home, and I guess at work, I am on social media a lot. So,
If you're not
And Kristen
watching
does
The
a lot of
Housewives.
videos.
Oh, yeah,
a
all
lot
the
of
videos.
informative hair videos.
Do you have a YouTube channel or no?
I don't, but it's
Yeah.
funny because I probably, after I first graduated cosmetology school, I actually did make a YouTube channel, but that was
Is it still around, or did you delete it?
No, I never posted anything.
Oh.
I really wanted to make makeup tutorials. That's when Jaclyn Hill and everyone started really getting popular, and I was like, I want to do this. I always knew I wanted to do something with social media. Obviously I didn't have a good camera or know how to edit or anything, so that just kind of flopped, but it's probably still there. There's just nothing posted on it.
Listen, now's your time. I mean, I think every person that was making makeup videos got canceled for one thing or another out there. So I feel like the picking's prime.
Yeah, it's funny though, because I love makeup, but it's not my main thing anymore, really. I'll always love makeup, but I guess you kind of evolve too. And I don't know, I used to go shopping for makeup all the time, and I can't even tell you the last time I have now.
You were kind of the same. You went
Yeah.
on a big makeup kick for a while there. And
Your
now you,
years.
don't ever even wear it.
I know, now I have enough makeup to last 10 lifetimes, but
I know,
You
but
definitely do with your, I've seen
that
your
vanity
makeup
is so
collection.
pretty though. It's the best
do
makeup
love my
collection.
vanity.
So for anyone who doesn't know you well or doesn't know, I do want you to tell everybody how you met your husband and how he proposed to you, because it's fucking hilarious and it's still one of the cutest things ever.
Okay, well, my husband is a state trooper, and it's kind of ironic. I ended up marrying a state trooper because when I was younger, I was in trouble all the time. So no one could believe that I married a cop, first of all. But it's also kind of weird how it happened, because I do think everything happens the way it's supposed to, or when it's supposed to. And one of my friends kept telling me when she would come to her hair appointment, you should meet my husband's friend, coworker, and I didn't know at the time it was Josh. So I was like, no, I'm really not interested in a blind date. I really don't want to do that. And then months later, my cousin's wife, I do her hair, and she was like, you should really meet Greg's coworker or friend. And I was like, why not? I guess, why not? What's it going to hurt? So anyways, we end up going on a blind date, and yeah, we've been together ever since. But then my friend came back to her hair appointment. She's like, oh, you went out with him. So they were both trying to set me up with the same person. They don't even, you know, neither of them knew. They don't even know each other. So it was just ironic that, like, everyone was trying to set me up with Josh.
Oh, that is great. I didn't even know that the two people were.
Yeah, and it was, like, over a span of, like, 6 months or something. And I think timing-wise, it worked out, like, the way it was supposed to, because I had just gotten out of a long relationship maybe a year beforehand, so I was just like single, having fun with my friends, and I don't know, I think not ready to like really be in a relationship, and he had just gotten out of like a bad relationship, so I really think timing was everything, and it worked out the way it was
good.
to.
Like you waited.
Yeah like
just this little bit because you keep trying to run away from it.
I know, sorry.
Like, shove her into it. Get in there.
Okay.
So how long did you guys date before he proposed?
Moved quick. So I'm trying to think of the timeline now. Well, if this tells you anything, I just got a Facebook notification yesterday that we've been Facebook friends for 6 years now. So we do move quick considering we have a 3.5-year-old. But we dated, and I think 9 months after we dated is 9 or 10 months is when we got engaged. It felt like we had just like been together for a long time though. It just felt right, I think, for both of us. So I think it was more of like an adult relationship. So we moved quick. We got engaged, and then we got married less than a year later, and then I got pregnant a month later. So
wait, you got to rewind to the engagement.
The engagement.
The proposal. The proposal.
It was really cute.
It was. So we well, like, we had been talking about it, but I mean, so like it was a complete surprise. I knew it was coming at some point, but I didn't know when, because we'd like kind of talked about rings and stuff. And the night before, we were down at the Nutcrackers, the Nutcracker Village, and they had that one Nutcracker that was like kneeling down proposing. And we had went to Applebee's beforehand, had a couple of drinks, so I was like kind of like
a little soft
in a mood.
I like that, in a mood.
So I said, oh my God, this Nutcracker's proposing. You won't even propose, like making like a huge deal, being a brat. He says I'm a brat. And then the next day we were supposed to like go, it was the beginning of December. We were supposed to go up to Robinson, go Christmas shopping and stuff. So the next morning I was super hungover, and all morning he's like, are you going to get ready so we can go? And I was like, no, I'm just going like this. Like, I don't like, you know, I looked like crap. I was like, why do you keep bothering me? Like, then I started thinking, like, do I look bad? Why does he want me to like go get ready? Well, I didn't really get ready. I like put on a little concealer, threw a hat, like a toboggan on, and we were driving, like, well, he was driving, and I didn't think anything of it because I tell him all the time I think he's kind of a bad driver. So he was kind of swerving a little bit, and there was a cop behind us, and I'm like, and I don't think all cops like know each other. So, and he's a state trooper, and the cop was a Wintersville cop. So I wasn't like thinking, oh, they know each other or anything. So I was like, you're going to get pulled over. You keep going left to center. And he's like, no. So he got pulled over. And I was like, I told you, like, I was just rubbing in his face, like, you're going to get a ticket. So the cop comes up to his window, and he's like, he probably could have just said, like, you were going left to center, but he was like, oh, we had a call about this truck. Somebody called and said it was like a rolling domestic. Like, are you guys fighting in the car? And I was like, what? We weren't fighting. Like, maybe somebody saw us kind of like just talking back and forth. So he's like, well, just, it's protocol, could you step out of the car with me? So he gets out. My voice is like cracking. I'm like terrified. I'm like, we're going to jail. I don't know why. So he's like, are you okay? Like, he didn't like hurt you or anything, right? Like, he's just like rambling, asking questions, and I'm like barely able to speak. And then I saw Josh like turn the corner and get down on his knee and propose, and I was just like in so much shock, so I didn't.
Your face in that video
I don't
is
think I
probably one
said
of my
yes,
favorite things because you're just like,
I was scared. I was like, this is
no.
so bizarre, but
And he posted like the video.
yeah,
Oh, that's
well,
great.
since
So great.
since he was a cop, it was all on his dash cam, and actually he is the one who ended up marrying us at our wedding.
Aw.
So he was involved in that way.
Very cute. Very cute. I love that damn video. It's so funny to me.
I know.
Which Josh is just funny like that.
I know.
There you are hungover on the side of the road getting accused of a rolling domestic.
I know. I was like,
Did you go to Robinson after that? Or are you like, can we just go
Oh.
home? Like, we don't need to do this.
I actually had a doctor's appointment before we were supposed to go to Robinson.
Did you make it to the doctor's appointment? Or
It
were
was
you
a gynecologist appointment.
That's great.
So we got there. And she's just like, doing her thing, and I'm just like beaming. I'm like smiling ear to ear. And finally I was like, I got engaged. She's like, why didn't you say anything? The doctor, she's
funny.
probably like, this is strange. Like, I'm just cheesing so hard the whole time. So after we left my doctor's appointment, I was like, are we going up to Robinson? But he had already made reservations for us at Capitol Grill in Pittsburgh. So that night we went out and had a nice dinner.
Oh,
Aw.
that's the bestest.
Yes, then we started wedding planning, and that was hectic and stressful.
But you had such a fun wedding.
Yeah, I think it was fun.
It was so much fun.
Everyone tells us still to this day that they're like, your wedding was one of the funnest weddings we ever went to.
It was.
It really
really fun.
was.
It was just
super fun.
Yeah.
It was worth it. What did the one day I was like, yeah, your wedding was so fun. You were like, good. I hope it was because we just paid it off.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it was great.
It is funny because like wedding trends and stuff, especially because I do bridal, like change so quickly. And I always think back, like, would I, get a different dress, or would I do my hair different? But I loved everything. And at the time it was in style, I guess, like I wouldn't change anything. The only thing I probably would change is maybe just make it like a little bit smaller.
How many people did you have?
Well, I can't remember exactly, but I would think at least like 250.
That is pretty big.
I think because even if you think about it, like Josh invited all of his coworkers plus their spouse, and then I did, so that there was a lot
It's
there.
probably like
and
120 people right there.
yeah, and then family and other friends, but it was fun, so it was worth it.
And then 3.5 months later, you said you had Wesson?
Well, no, I got pregnant a month later, so
Oh,
everyone was like, "Oh, were you pregnant at your wedding? Do you have a honeymoon baby?" But no, we know when it was New Year's Eve, and I have a September baby, so I got married in November, so I was
A
not
month
pregnant.
later. And little Wesson now. He looks like a little man.
Yes, he's so.
He's
old
like the
now.
perfect little mush of you and Josh, though. Like, I
Yeah.
see more of you and him right now, but like, it is still such a mush of the two of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I see you
Especially-
both.
Like with pictures of me when I was his age, like it looks exactly the same.
We got to get some updated pageant pictures.
I only did a couple. She was the pageant queen.
Cheyenne did more. So Cheyenne is she your youngest sibling?
Yes, so I actually have two sisters that are the same age, but they're not related because my mom and dad both, got remarried after they were divorced, and both had another kid at the same time. So when I tell people I have sisters or that they're the same age, they think I have twin sisters or something. But my mom had another kid and my dad had another kid at the same year. So I have two sisters that are the same age.
And then where's your brother fall in?
He is 6 years younger than me, and my oldest sister I think he's 6 years younger than me. I can't keep track. My oldest sister is 6 years older than me, and then there's a 16-year age gap between her and Cheyenne.
Damn.
Damn, yeah.
So my mom, when Cheyenne went off to college, said, like, I'm done. Well, obviously, she's like, all the kids are out of the house, and then I had Wesson. So now she has
and your
him
brother
sometimes,
had his kid?
and my brother has Kason. So She's literally had kids around since she was 18.
Wow. But your mom, I feel like she loves it though.
Yeah, she does.
She loves it.
She does.
Was raising a kid what you expected it to be, or
No.
in what ways do you...
Well, your whole life changes and everyone tells you that, but until you experience it, it's just different. And like the love you have for your kid, I know everyone says tries to tell you, but until you feel it, it's just something different. Like I love it. I love being his mom. I always tell him that too. Like he's a mama's boy, so
He's so precious. He's so like long on you now too. Like he's
tall.
so yeah. Like when you were
Very
like
tall.
holding him the other day, he's just all the way down you,
yeah, he
but
definitely
still
comes
like.
up to my at least like my hips, if not more.
Does he like still want to be like your baby? Does he still want you to be,
Oh
like,
yes.
hold him like the baby?
My older sister thinks I'm ridiculous because I tell him he's a baby. Like I probably should be doing this. I'm like, oh, you're my baby, and he'll like lay across me, like, and he'll pretend like he's a baby. Oh my God. He's never gonna grow up.
Just
It's
wait till
okay.
he's like 16 and like 6 foot tall and
I
like
know.
sprawled across you. Yeah.
I know, and he is like dying for a sibling.
Is he?
Oh, he brought a 10-pound like medicine ball. He's carrying it around. He carried it to me. Told me it was a baby. Put it in my under my shirt, and it looked like I was pregnant. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he was like putting his head against my belly. Like he'll literally say like brother, sister, like all the time, because I think he sees it on TV shows and stuff. Like people have brothers and sisters, but he goes to preschool next year and he's really excited to go to school with his friends, he says.
That's so cute. I hope that like if you guys do have another one, that he like maintains that enthusiasm.
I know.
Like
I know.
you think you want another brother or sister, but
Right.
He's so cute though. Like I love seeing him in your videos. And if like you haven't seen her social media, you'll see him sometimes like playing with her makeup, and he has his own too, right?
Yes, he has a little vanity. He wanted it for Christmas and my mom got it for him. And he sits there when I do my makeup. He'll sit there and play. And he hides stuff in the drawers. The other day I found a bunch of my stuff in there.
His high heels too. I remember him going in your high heels when he was little.
Stage. That's what happens when you have a very, very girly girl mom. It's just,
well, it's also like Josh is so easygoing about everything too. Like
yeah.
whatever. We got to get Wes in a belt buckle though.
Oh, like Josh's beer holder.
Yes. Which I also think it's so funny because Josh is so country.
I know.
And like to picture you as someone who's so country.
Yes.
It's like
Everything about him is opposite of me. But I guess that's why they say opposites attract.
good
because
balance.
he's
It is a good
literally the opposite of me.
wait, what did you tell me? What Josh did? What did they do? A parade at their school on their
Tractor, like bring your tractor to school day or something. I have a video on my phone because I couldn't believe it. But they are literally like all in a line, ride their tractors. It's so funny.
Where did he go to school at?
Licking Valley in Newark.
You know, like that nasty stretch that we all hate when we're going to Columbus, where it goes down to 2 lanes and just,
Oh yeah.
we motherfuck everybody the whole time.
And there's like completely flat land.
Yep, no man's land. Mm. So okay, so I definitely want to talk about like all your cool social media stuff because, well, I'm trying to think. So you've been doing hair for 10 years, but when would you say you really started to put like a concerted effort into social media?
So when I was in hair school, that's when Instagram first really started. I think at least it just started like, I guess, picking up momentum, and people just posted, pictures, and they were like, it was so different than it is now. So I would post some hair pictures when I was in school, and then when I started actually doing hair, like in a salon, I always credit social media to really how I built my clientele, because I, would offer discounts, post my work, and I think any young stylist or really anyone in building a business is crazy not to use social media because it's free. It's a free platform for you to advertise for yourself. So, and I know you were like, I didn't even know you, but you were always posting hair pictures. Like, I feel like there was like a handful of us always posting hair pictures, and that's how I had built really a lot of my clientele. So then I kept up with it, but I didn't take it like too serious. And then when was it? Like after Weston was born, I separated my personal page and started a new hair page, which I didn't want to do. But then I thought, what's it matter? What's the worst that can happen? It just doesn't do well. I don't know. But actually, and it looked much different then than it does now, even though that was only 3 years ago when I started it. And then fast forward to like right before the pandemic, I had met one of my I call them internet friends, but really we met in real life, Adina. She came last year to teach a class, and she kind of was starting to pick up in social media, and she would just randomly message me. We had never met each other. We just followed each other, and she would give me tips. So once the pandemic hit and everyone was stuck inside, and that's when I started getting, I guess, more creative with it, and really started taking like her advice with posting more videos, posting twice a day. Like she said, if you want your hair page to pick up, you have to post videos. I mean, that was before Reels were a thing, and before TikTok. So, or before TikTok was popular at least. So I, when I started doing hair after the pandemic was when I first started making actual videos of me in the salon doing hair. Not because I thought, oh wow, like what I'm doing is so great in the salon. No, it was just kind of like a look inside. This is me highlighting hair. Like, and then it's now turned into, I guess, kind of in a way, it feels weird saying it because I don't think of myself as being like an educator, but it's kind of turned into an educational page. I forgot about this too. So after I had Weston, I started doing tutorials on myself. I forgot about that whole chunk of social media. So that, which goes back to me wanting a YouTube page. I was like, I know I want to be
Pink Pewter.
Yes. And I love Mariah. She's the owner of Pink Pewter, and she has been like nothing but great. And the whole time, even when I had like, 200 followers or whatever. So I just would randomly make like hair videos on myself using Pink Pewter or tag them and makeup here and there. And my clients really liked it, but that's how I kind of started feeling more comfortable putting myself out there. And I remember thinking like, I know I need to like get on my stories and talk. And then I was like terrified, but now it's like nothing. I guess just
with practice.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to get on there. I can easily talk though on social media, but I get like so nervous going into like a room full of people talking.
I do too.
Because like, even though I might have this many people looking at my stories, I guess because we're not face to face, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Well, how many, like, what are you up to now on Instagram?
I'm like right under 50K.
That's awesome.
And like when we'll just say like May, what was it? May of 2020 when we went back?
Oh,
remember when we went back to where
yeah, it was May, 'cause right after my birthday.
Where were you at then?
Then maybe like 1,500.
And then real quick, you hit 10K.
Yeah. So
what were the reasonings behind that growth so fast? Can you attribute anything to it?
Consistency.
Just consistency.
So like Adina had given me the tips, post twice a day or at least once a day, whatever you can, more than once a week. So I'm trying to think. Yeah.
You had a part-time, like it was a part-time job on top of your regular job. Like this is
how many hours were you investing into it every day? Or did you do multiples and just like have them ready?
So like now I have albums full of stuff. So all I have to do is go post. But like when I'm working out on the treadmill or something, I'm editing videos. Or, if we're laying down to go to bed, sometimes I'm editing videos. Like I just find time, but I have a whole like stockpile of stuff now to post, and there's a lot you could do to like repurpose content. So right now like Behind the Chair is having their one shot awards, which you can enter there's like certain dates. Basically, it's like a year's worth of work. So I can literally reuse all of my last year's worth of content and post it sporadically mixed in with my new content. And in turn, I'm getting new followers because it's new to them. You know what I mean? They've never seen this stuff I posted a year ago. But yeah, like when Reels came out, it was last spring, because I remember I was in Florida at my grandma's when I hit, I think, 3,000 followers, and I couldn't believe it. And it's not even like followers really matter, but
well, it does when you're being like, I mean, because we'll just like call it what it is, like social media influencing. And it's not like, also for people to understand, like, it's not like when we just post like willy-nilly, like in our industry, like it really is methodical for like posting for who you want to post for and with what content, and then knowing hashtags and branding, and it's a lot, and it's like ever changing. So
the Instagram's like the algorithm is always changing. And so I hit 3,000, and then we did that class with Adina, and then I hit 5,000. Reels came out, and Reels, like when Instagram has a new feature, they push it. So, which if you're trying to grow your page, that's important, because your content, like I was posting Reels and I felt like a lot of people weren't, so my content was getting pushed to the top. So then way more people were seeing it than just my followers. And then I went real quick from like 5 to 10 just because of like Instagram Reels.
And then real quick from like 10 to 30.
Yeah, 10. The first 10 is the hardest. Everyone kept telling me like once you hit it, and I kept thinking like, well, what if I hit it and then I go backwards? But it's not, I guess it doesn't happen like that. But one thing that has happened with like the more followers you get, I think sometimes people, like especially random people, forget that there's a person behind the page. So they leave like awful comments or mean comments. I'm like, hello, I'm right here reading your comment. So I think actually before, when I had less followers, it was a lot less stressful, because I feel like the work I'm putting out now is better, but people weren't so judgmental when there was only a couple hundred or a couple thousand people seeing it. Now when there's all these people seeing it, they're very...
Do you read every comment, or do you try to like ignore ones now at this point with 50,000?
I try, and I even miss like some mean comments I'll miss, then I'll randomly go back and see them like months later, and then sometimes I'll reply. And sometimes I just block them, because I found it's not really worth arguing, because this happened to me whenever I was in Florida and I had 3,000 followers. I was on vacation, and I was one of the first videos I posted that kind of like took off, I guess. It didn't like go viral or something, but it got a lot of action. So randomly this girl commented about how awful it was, and she thought I was hurting my client the way I was like round brushing her hair. I'm like, I don't know. Like, whatever. So she had I forget whatever she said, but I commented back, and then she wanted to argue. Like instantly, as soon as I commented, she was like ready to go. So we were arguing back and forth. So finally I'm like, why am I arguing? I'm on vacation in Florida with my family. So I just blocked her. She found me on on Facebook. She must have looked me up on Facebook and found me, and I'm like, that is like taking it to a whole nother level.
And
she
has
so much
nothing
effort,
better to do.
Yeah, so she sent me a message calling me a narcissist and blah, blah, blah. I think I just blocked her on there too. I was just think it's really wild that like you
and
would
it's like
go out of your
probably
way
someone
that
who
much.
like doesn't do hair, has never done hair,
Usually,
knows nothing
that's who
about
it is.
it, and they like say some shit. But like also too, for anyone who doesn't know, like the behind the chair thing in our line of work, like that's a huge deal. Like I'm sure you'll be like, but it's a big deal. Behind the chair pretty much came in and took over like cosmetology. So behind the chair is like they're like one of the top 3 big platforms. Yeah. So if you make it into that, like they have their like top 25 under 25 or whatever, and top 30 under 30. So they really give a lot of exposure, but you are actually like working with them now.
Yeah, how did
and
that
part of their
happen?
education team.
Well, so they founded the BTC team 4 years ago. I think they just had their like 4-year like anniversary, and it's the owner's daughter and 2 other girls are really nice, Haley, Chrissy, and Caitlin, and they actually look for people with less followers or people who are, you know, like making videos, making good content, but might not, you know, have the connections to work with brands or whatever. You know, because a lot of people who have a lot of followers at this point are already established, I guess, in a way. So last fall, I had got reposted on Bio Ionics page, and nothing, I wasn't paid for anything. Nothing was like sponsored. I just would post stuff I like and tag the company. So I made a curling video on myself with, you know, the long barrel iron,
which made everybody have to have the long barreled iron.
But I'll say Lisa used it first. She was the one who was like telling everyone about it.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
So I posted that video. They reposted it, which was like huge for me. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, made my day. And then I shortly after, like a day or two later, got a message from Haley asking if I was interested in receiving like content boxes from Behind the Chair, which what that is they send out boxes of new products that are just launched from the big brands, and you kind of like can get creative with it. They send them to, because that's what we do in our industry, we're creative, so they want to see how you're using it, and I think they look to see how consistent you are, how, you know, so if you just get the box, they send you all this free content and you don't use it, then like, I don't think they're going to send you another one. Well, I consistently got boxes for a full year. And I will say too, like the boxes have incentives. So they'll have a contest they'll run for a couple months or something and be like, they'll pick a winner and you get this or that. And I won like a few times. But sometimes too, like Behind the Chair will repost you because you're promoting that stuff. But after it hit the year mark is whenever they had contacted me again about like working with them, I guess. So then I started working with them a little bit, and then they asked me to be on their team, which was like, felt like the biggest accomplishment in my career, really.
Which it really, like, it is. Like, I know you like downplay that, but it is like, it is super cool. And like anyone who knows the industry knows how hard you have to work, but anyone not in it, like, it's very hard. Like, there are a lot of cosmetologists, a lot of great cosmetologists, a lot of people, and I don't mean it offensively, they might not be that great, but they're willing to post and work on social media. So you have to really have like, you have to want it. Like, you really have to want it. So I have to say, like, I'm super proud of you because you definitely deserve it.
Was that your goal all along? Like, was that what you were hoping to gain? Or
I really
did you just do it for fun?
It's like weird looking back now because I knew I wanted to be on social media. And then I think back to 3 years ago or whenever I'm just posting all these random videos. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, why am I spending all this time? You know, because when I first started making videos, especially on my like tutorials on myself, I would have to set aside hours. Like, do my makeup, get ready, fix my hair, video it, edit it, post it, and for it to either just flop or whatever. And I would say to myself, why am I doing this? Like, what's the reason? And I never really knew. I just said, like, would tell myself, just keep doing it. Something's going to come of it. Just keep doing it. So then I feel like almost like it validated all of that. Like, all that hard work I put in for years.
Paid off.
Then I'm like, wow, yeah, like now I'm on the BTC team. And now really most of the videos I make don't take any extra time because I make them in salon. The only ones that sometimes take me extra time is if I do a tutorial on myself, which I don't even do a lot of those anymore, like once in a while.
But it's so fun because, well, I mean, we get to see all the like cool new stuff, but it's also fun, like, that you get such a wide array of products. Like, typically at most salons, like, you're locked into working with like one brand or 2 brands, but you get so much of everything that I can't even say how many times we like found a product and we're like, yeah, we got to have this.
Yeah.
And everybody loves it.
Yeah, it's nice too because like our boss will ask me like any good new products we should order in, and we've ordered in stuff. We've ordered in toners I liked. The Osis line, we ordered in a few of their products from Schwarzkopf because I found them through Behind the Chair and liked them. So
Yeah, I remember that Surface. I still always talk
yeah,
about that
still
Surface line because I really
like
like that.
I like the Surface line. So yeah, I get to try brands I've never tried. It's almost like, even though I've been doing hair for 10 years now, it's like almost like starting over. I'm like getting to play with all this stuff and be really creative again.
It's very cool. It's a very big accomplishment.
It is.
To like do that, and then to be like from here,
Yeah.
from the Ohio Valley, where some places are like social media doesn't mean anything.
I know.
But
And when a lot of people think Ohio Valley's like outdated, but
like we're really not. I promise, not that much.
Now, how do you keep up with like the trends? Because you yourself said like they're ever changing, and
yeah, so I think one good thing I guess I came from the pandemic is beforehand it was like, well, education's always important, you know, but before it was like, oh, we're going to have this educator or that educator, but then when nobody was going anywhere, everyone was locked down, and even since then people sometimes are still hesitant, like everything was online. Like there was nothing you can't get. Like now, like Behind the Chair has a university, so the BTC University, I don't know if it started during the pandemic, but I think you pay for the year or monthly, and it's all at your fingertips. Like I watched 3 hours worth of classes a couple weeks ago on a Saturday.
that's sweet.
Like you don't have to have these
4-hour classes
Yeah.
person,
and waste your
yeah.
whole Sunday, Monday to sit there. And
It makes it more efficient. You can do it from home and not have to travel.
and you can
or-
find like the creators or the things that you like,
Yeah, that's true.
the people that like keep you captivated.
Well, and now, like, I can't even believe I'm saying this, that I have classes coming up, but I think a lot of the people teaching classes now are the people putting education on social media, because you might see someone, you know, like how we had Adina come to Steubenville, because I'm like, I like what she's posting online, and you can only post so much on your Instagram, like 60 seconds here, 60 seconds there. So it's still nice to have in-person education, but I think it's definitely like different than it was before the pandemic. Now,
I think it's so much better because I feel like everybody, once everything was like shut down, no one was really like tied into things like they were before. So you had creators that could like be a little more like free. Like I love Adina because number one, once you cuss, I love you. But Adina, I remember finding Adina through you, and Adina is like cool as shit, and she's super real, and like it's nice to see organicness and not like cookie cutter classes that we would get where like, you know, it's not the educator's fault. It's just big brands, just like any big
they
brand.
teach
Like,
their way.
yeah, you have
and
to
they use all their products. Yeah.
They're probably trained to do that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you're contractually obligated
Yeah,
to
to
do
do that.
those things.
And
Where
I think a lot of the educators now are more like that. Like,
freelanced.
yeah, it's just a lot of freelance. Not
And
like,
I think Behind the Chair definitely needs some credit for that too, and that they brought so many different brands together,
Yeah.
and there wasn't just that like exclusion of things, which makes it so much nicer. And it's not like, oh well, if you use this product, like this is the best and this isn't. And there's that rivalry where you had people that were like, oh no, we use, I mean, I nerd out on it, and it's exciting because you know how much it sucks to be put in a box and like what you can and can't use and talk about.
yeah. And I think it's helpful too, like getting to try different brands, because although I prefer, you know, one to use daily, but like when I hopefully go to teach the class, I can relate, like even though they might not use what I'm using, I've played with so many other brands. I
So you
kind
know
of
something
got
comparable,
to know some,
yeah.
like color lines.
Now, when is your class?
I have 2 in April, actually. One of them's a private class.
Are these your first ones?
Well, I did 2 updo classes last year, and they were small. One was with our coworkers, which was fun, and the other one was also small, but this is my first, like by myself color class.
That's awesome.
But I have one private one with just that salon, and then the one that I opened up to like the public, I guess, to everyone in Pittsburgh. That's at the end of April.
Oh, cool.
I'm excited.
Now, how did you line these up? Did you know the people, or did they reach out to you?
Lisa helped me. Like, she's honestly been pushing me for, like, I would say the past year. But
and we've been talking about Lisa Mort, who's in an episode 2 before that.
She was in.
Same Lisa.
Well, yeah. Which I watched hers on here. But she, I don't want to say pushed me, but she encouraged me. She'd be like, okay, time to set up a class. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. And she wouldn't, like, bother me about it. She'd be like, you need to have a class. And I'm like, not yet.
Just set a date.
And then finally I felt ready. I was like, I text her and I'm like blowing her up. I'm like, okay, help me. I need help. I'm trying to get a class together. What do I do? So actually she hooked me up with the salon owner in PA, and she's really nice. And I just asked if I could host there, and her girls will be there. And then I opened it up, and I was thinking, like, I was nervous, like first time jitters. I guess, are you going to sell any tickets? And it sold out in like 8 hours.
That is
or
so
less.
awesome.
Yeah. So, and I got like some really good sponsors. So
that's really cool.
Which is another thing, like working with brands, is like I can reach out and be like, hey, would you, mind sponsoring my class? So
now, is that something like you want to do more of in the future? Like, where do you see ideally, like, what you want your career growth to kind of be?
Yeah, if it goes well, I would love to be teaching more, which is just I just think it's so funny when I say it, because this was never in my plans. Not once.
In your enthusiasm towards public speaking.
Yeah, I'm so I'm nervous of public speaking, but I feel like if you're confident in what you're doing, there's not like a need to be nervous. So I think once I start talking, then the jitters kind of go away, because I feel confident in talking about hair.
And you said you were like nervous
media
in the beginning with the like recording yourself on video. Now it's like,
so it's just going to be practice. I think that's normal. I think if you're not nervous at all for your first class, it probably you might be too cocky. I don't know. So I think ideally, like in the next few years, I would like to be scheduling more classes.
Now, you do a lot of like bridal stuff. Do you want to continue to do that, or you?
So I do love bridal, but you can get burnout on anything, and bridal was starting to become that because of the pandemic. Everything got postponed.
Oh yeah.
So the weddings were double. I quit working Saturdays for a reason. Like, I wanted to be home with Wesson, so I picked up Fridays, and because I only work 3 days a week. So I didn't want to work Saturdays. I was like, I'll work Fridays instead. Well, it kind of backfired, because then I ended up working 4 days, having weddings every weekend, or multiple weddings in a weekend. And I was just like, you know what, this is too much. So now I cut down to 2 weddings a month, and I raised my prices just because I think it's time to just kind of step back a little from it, and maybe like,
and you're in demand
quality
for
over quantity or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like I don't need to take every single.
No, and like you. I mean,
I don't want to end up hating them.
No, and you get what you pay for, and
not the brides.
Like you get what you pay for, and there's like a niche for everyone. And I think for you, like your focus is really on the bride. Like, you like to devote that time to them. And like when people be like, oh, I want you to do my hair for a wedding. No, you fucking don't. I love you respectfully, but you fucking don't. Like, I would tell people, I'm like, you want Kristen, because number one, Kristen gets it. She's been a bride. She's the best at it. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass. And you give them, like, you enjoy the whole process with them and take time, where it's like, it's almost like you and the bride and maybe 1, maybe 2 other people, and then like everybody else is done. But it's just cool to see how you make it such an intimate process, and like so super like chilled out, as opposed to like chop shop. Normally, like if anyone's ever been a part of a bridal party, 9 times out of 10, it's like you go in and do this, and it's very sterile. Like you don't necessarily even know who's doing your hair. And the way you do it, you have your very specific style to how you do things.
Right. I think that's the other thing I was having, I don't want to say trouble with, because like, if you want I mean, most brides come in for a trial, but like I started realizing like you specialize in something. I mean, so I do romantic style updos. I always have, even not intentionally. That's just the style of updos I do. I don't do really a lot of boho. Like that's just
No, yours are so
they're more romantic. So
you're the first person I saw use forms the way that you do.
yeah, so I would have brides coming in wanting this or that, and I'm like, if you look at my page, like I don't do that kind of. I could try, but I just feel like just like you would look for someone to do your hair color who specializes in or who does mostly blondes or mostly balayage, like it should be like that for updos too.
Even like a tattoo artist, you're not going to
Yeah.
have them do a type of artwork they're not comfortable doing. Like,
Right. Like I tried so many times, let me try and do like a boho style updo, and it looks pretty, but I always end up putting a romantic touch on it because that's what I
Your
do.
style, your
So
And you definitely seem like way less stressed not having all those weddings, which I know you love doing, but you just
we're getting
to
burnt
be
out,
like
yeah.
a wife and a mom and then have your own time and
Social
you're
media.
still social media. You're still working behind the
Yeah.
chair. Like,
well, and what happened with the whole bridal situation with the pandemic and stuff was people booked their weddings like a year in advance, or they should be at least, I guess. Usually, so I wasn't looking a year ahead of my schedule. So when it came time, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put a cap, like a limit on this because I didn't realize I have like 6 weddings this month. You know what I mean? Like, so now I kind of like ahead of time, I can kind of be like, no, 2 weddings a month is plenty.
so how does Josh, like, I mean, I know like he's super supportive of you, but like how has your career like changed your relationship, like bettered it, like what has that done to your dynamic, and like how does he feel about everything that you're doing?
He loves it.
Wait, what did he comment on your picture? He was like,
He'll say, keep working hard so I don't have to one day. He like thinks it's so funny to like
I love
call
Josh.
me a sugar mama or like he'll like brag to his friends like, yeah, my wife just got this deal, my wife's on Instagram, like he's proud of me. And I call him my husbander because he does all the paperwork. Like if I have something, a contract or any type of deal going on, I don't like doing paperwork. I literally skim it. Okay, like I'll have him send out invoices to companies because most of the time you have to invoice them to get paid, and I'm like, Josh, did you send that invoice? So he takes care of all of that because I don't
he's
like
very
to.
helpful.
Oh, he loves it. He really does.
Does he help you a lot with like Wesson when you're like recording? And
Yes, and that's what I was going to say too. He's never, even back before I was getting deals and stuff, he never like questioned it. He just said, like, and Wesson was little then, so he required more attention, and he never questioned it. He's just like, yeah, mommy's recording a video. Like, he never was like, oh, this is dumb, or, you know, so.
Yeah.
he even was your shoulders.
Yes, during the pandemic, the shutdown, whenever I had to, I didn't have to, but I was trying to do updos on a wig, and he would wear them for me. He helps in any way.
Oh my
so
God,
much.
swatches with Josh. I forgot
Oh, I
all
forgot
about
about
it.
swatches
my
with
makeup
Josh.
on
Oh,
him.
those were the best. It was like
We need
you
to
guys
return that.
in bed, and yes, you need to.
I
Can we
know.
start this up again?
I know.
More Josh and
Swatches
Wesson.
with Josh. Just
know.
laying in bed, and she'd be like, "I have this palette," and she'd just, you know, Josh's hairy arm. But it was so
I love when
great.
he'd put his like face in the frame.
Like, we went to a wedding, and he's like introducing me to he's like, this is my wife, she's an influencer, she's on Instagram. I was like, I'm like, I'm a hairfluencer, Josh. I don't like the word influencer,
I'm a
so I say I'm a
hairfluencer.
hairfluencer. I'm not like, you know, doing clothing hauls. You know what I mean?
I
Like
mean,
a normal influencer.
you're
it's
just
like
in a different
the hair
lane.
world is a little bit different.
So, like, what do you think of his profession? Like, how do you feel, especially, like, his job is risky. Like, it comes with its dangers. And, like, how do you feel about what he does?
I think I'm lucky. Like, we are where we are because I want to knock on wood. Like, there's not ever anything that's been, like, super, at least since I've been with him, like, crazy or, I don't know, that's happened, you know, as maybe, like, a bigger city since we're in a small town. But, yeah.
Isn't the most dangerous city in the United States? Crazy.
I know.
I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen to you in Steubenville is if you're buying illegal street drugs, it's probably going to have fentanyl in it.
Yeah.
But if you listen to, like, the comments on WTOV9's posts, they're like, oh, this happened in Steubenville, shocker.
Yeah, because it's like fucking Bob and Karen that live in Arizona or snowbirding in fucking Florida with their racist asses that, like, have something to say, probably because Bob got arrested for prostitution down on the corner of fucking 7th and Slack. Fucking dickheads.
Yeah, it's probably just a lot of, like, repeat offenders happening.
Fuck Steubenville. That's what happens. That's why there's a shooting. Shut the fuck up. It wasn't like a shooting happened.
What? And they act like it's a shooting every day.
Every day.
Like 3 times a year? All right.
Yeah, like, there were shots fired up on the hill because somebody was probably, like, getting at it and was like, pow, pow, you know, in the air. I'm not saying that it's right, but
I think it's, like, a touchy subject to say, like, I know my husband's a good guy, but when everything bad was happening, and there are bad cops, there's bad people in general, like, he would get grouped into that. And I would almost be, like, ashamed to tell people, like, my husband's a cop, because they automatically would be like, is he, like, you know, the cops?
He's not a piece of shit.
Yeah, the ones doing awful things, but just, like, he's a good person. I mean, so.
Was that hard on him? Did he ever, like.
Yeah, I think because he saw a lot of people, especially, like, family members, friends, like, bashing cops in general as, like, grouping them together. And I think he took it to heart sometimes when I'm like, they're not talking about you. But he's like, I am a cop. Like, that's my profession. So if you're just making a broad statement about them, it involves me.
Yeah, and he really cares about what he does. Like, I can tell he's like.
Oh, yeah. But there definitely is. Just like with anything, there's, like.
Well, what sucks about that to me is, like, if in any other scenario, if you group people together like that, then you're the asshole. Like, if you're saying all white people are like this, all black people are like this, all that, then you're an asshole. So for people to do that to cops and just think that's okay is absurd to me.
And I also felt
people
like,
that also risk their lives, by the way, to help you.
And I also felt like state highway patrolmen were always, like, kind of like the Air Force of, like, cops, and that, like, to me,
the fuck does that mean?
Like, let me get there. So
I'm Air Force here.
No, that's a good thing. Like, the Air Force guys, to me, like, they were always very, like, and don't fucking come at me about, just shut up. I mean this in the nicest way. The Air Force guys always seemed to be very intellectual. They were very smart. They were much more even keeled. Like,
oh yeah,
so
that makes sense.
When I think of state highway patrolmen, like, they're much more, like, they're just doing what they got to do. They're very robotic in a nice way. Like, they're just doing their shit. It's not like your small town cop that, you know, was 5'1" and got picked on his whole life in high school, and now he's got some fucking shit up his ass.
Somebody very specific.
I think there's someone who looks like that on every single police force. But never mind, I'm gonna shut my mouth. But I've always felt like
state troopers are a little different than regular city cops.
Yeah, they're like there to do their shit. They go
through more, you know, training and stuff, and
which Josh did a lot more extensive training, didn't he?
Yeah, I feel like it's more like he went away to school, you know, and probably more like, I guess, military style, like, and he has to keep up on his weight, his, you know, like.
It seems a lot more diplomatic too.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just, for lack of me having a better word to pull out of my ass at this moment, it's like it's a whole other level of professionalism, in my opinion. Just
Well,
fucking
and
saying.
each state is different. You know, like state cops, I feel like are different in state to state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like don't fucking get pulled over by one in Pennsylvania. They give zero fucks.
Yeah.
Although I do, like, secretly, whenever I drive past the state highway patrol car now, I am always like, is it Josh?
Well,
and I'm like
yeah, we do that
turning
all the
and staring, and then I realize a lot of them look alike too.
I know. They all look the same.
And I'm like,
They all have
oh,
the
is that
same
Josh?
short haircuts, wear the hat.
I'm just waiting for me to like eye one of them down and then be like, is there a problem? Like, I thought you were Josh. It's fine.
I know.
Like, I thought you were Josh. I really do want to find him one day and just like, I don't know, like do a donut in the middle of the highway or something and see what he does.
I guess too, like I didn't realize before we dated, even though I have cops and state troopers in my family, like quite a few, that like what they deal with kind of daily, like not, I guess, you know, because state troopers are on the highway more than like dealing with
back
stuff in
roads
the
and
city
stuff,
and like car accidents, like that's traumatizing, seeing some of these nasty wrecks.
Yeah, and they're like
dealing
the
with
first
dead-
responder.
Yeah, like I just never like crossed my mind like, oh, he sees dead people like weekly, you know, like, and kind of just have to deal with it. I don't know.
And like to know Josh, he's just like the biggest, like, as a person, he's so sweet. I'm not saying he's not a tough cop. I have no idea, and I do not want to be on the receiving end of that. But he's
Yeah, but
just,
I think he's even said he's very respectful. Like, if you're
Yeah.
respectful to him, he's going to be
Yeah.
respectful. to
he's
you.
Yeah.
just, he's not, I've never seen Josh be a dick. Ever.
I love the look
I'm
you
like,
gave Kristen.
waiting for you to be like,
No, he's really chill for the most part. I guess I don't know what other word to use. He's laid back. He looks like a cop but he doesn't.
Laid back versus what's Kristen? Anxiety.
I know.
Poor Kristen.
He
It's like-
says he has anxiety now ever since being with me. He's like, I've never had it my entire life. I think I'm having anxiety. I'm like,
but like to look at you, it's like my favorite, because now that like I just know you so well, I know what looms under the surface. But like just looking at you, you're just quiet and you're there, and like you got your shit together and you're just there, and then you're like, Kristen, what's up? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know.
my mind never stops. And he says that. He's like, if you don't have something to worry about, you'll find something. He's right. I'm thinking of scenarios.
How many calls of scenarios have you got?
Oh, and then like that's one thing too that changed after having a kid. Like my anxiety got even worse, if that's possible.
Like worrying about Wesson?
Like I had very bad postpartum anxiety. Like you know you have like postpartum depression. My anxiety was like, and 3 years later it's still bad. I'm trying to like.
But like your parenting style too, like Josh's country boy, where like you fall down, you're dirty, like you're perfectly fine, like whatever, eat some dirt, it's cool. Which that's not offensive. I support that. And then you're just like, no, this is my baby. Like it's not okay.
I know.
No.
What are different like outlets you do for your anxiety?
The Real Housewives.
Worry. Impending doom.
She's not lying.
My favorite is like leaving work and you're like, call me later.
Calling friends to
Call
talk
me
you
later.
off the
I love
ledge.
it. I love it. I love it.
I know. I do watch Real Housewives. I
What was
know
the
that sounds
shirt?
dumb, but
What's the shirt you got? What did it say? Fuck.
bravo, bravo, fucking bravo.
In your Golden Girls shirts.
Yeah, my Golden
look.
Girls cup Josh got me.
Yes.
So I just like shows that just he can't stand the Real Housewives, but that's all I love to watch.
It's like brain numbing.
I know. It's like
it's
they're
great.
arguing about the dumbest stuff, like so it makes I don't know. Everything else just seem kind of. What else do I do? Like
Prosecco.
Yeah. Actually, though, sometimes alcohol can backfire.
Really?
I mean, make your anxiety worse. And I'm going through one of those spells right now where I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying not to drink as much, like, here and there. I don't know. Because then sometimes you'll drink and then your mind starts racing more. And my heart starts racing from the alcohol. So,
Then
How
you're
did
having a heart attack.
2020 affect you?
I have a theory though about the Real Housewives thing, like because you say like you like that because you feel like it gets rid of the tension because they're arguing about stupid stuff, but that show is all those shows are based off of constant tension.
probably making, yeah. Probably. I
like if there's not drama on that show, it doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah.
And they make drama, I know.
Well, it just gives
Probably
you
just
a
get your mind
yeah.
off of everything else.
Forget
Definitely
your
focus.
drama and just focus on their non-existent drama.
I think,
It's
well,
just like drama.
I know. I like their drama. Well, something else I did. I quit drinking caffeine, like I mentioned earlier, but like back when I was in college, because that would make it worse. And then I, like, growing up, I didn't do sports. Like, I wasn't like active. I was much more like artsy. So then, as I got older, I had to like kind of learn how to like, I don't know, work out and stuff, you know, because it wasn't.
I'm just sad I
Something
didn't
like
know
that.
you in high school.
I
I'm
never
so
did
sad
that.
I did not know high school,
I
Kristen.
failed gym class, literally.
Does Josh know that?
Yeah, he knows I have no athletic ability. So,
Does he like throw balls at you sometimes?
yeah, I get pissed. So, but like working out does help with my anxiety. So I at least try to do cardio a few times a week because it really, in the sunshine, like I want to move to Florida. I want to move somewhere warm because he even said like the other day, he's like, you've been in a great mood all week because it's been nice. I'm like, I know, because like the sunshine just makes you feel good. And he says I'm
does.
like a cat. Like I just like lay in the sun.
Like a chihuahua.
Yes.
She'll say the same thing. She's like, oh, yeah, you're much more awake today.
But how you asked about 2020, like the other day I said, this is terrible, Josh, but sometimes I kind of miss just being like stuck in the house, like the lockdown. It was terrible, but like it
I
was
loved
nice
it.
at the same time. And now like this time of year reminds me of it.
I look forward to the daily Kristen call. It was like, well, it's not the fun thing, but you had COVID pretty fucking severely. And, but it was like the daily Kristen call, like, let's check in, let's see how she's doing. And that's how like everyday pandemic kind of started, which was like the check-in bullshit. And then you'd be like, okay, I'm going to go. Josh is going to make me go do laps in the pool.
Yeah. When I had COVID, you mean?
Yeah.
Because yes.
You had to go sit in the sun. Or
And you
to
had
go
it
try
like
to do
pretty
your
early
thing.
on because I remember
Yes.
when I thought I had it, I would like reached out
I
to
thought you had it too.
Wait, can we talk about the phone call?
No.
Oh, God damn it.
What?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
Okay,
As long as
so
she doesn't care.
I'm on the phone with Kristen,
This is
and
embarrassing.
she was sick. You will totally know this. So I'm talking, and all of a sudden, I'm like on the phone with her, and I hear her. She's like, "Babe, I need you to come upstairs." And I go up and I start cracking up because, listen, you were really, really sick.
Yeah, I was
and
really
listen, I have shit myself too, so this is okay. And if you haven't shat yourself yet, you will.
Yeah, so laugh it
Sooner
out.
rather than later.
Everyone has.
So she's laying there in bed and she's so sick. She's like, what did you fart
I, like,
or
cough? I
You
think I
cough and
coughed.
shit the bed. And Kristen's on speakerphone. She's like, oh my God, like that's nothing. That's nothing. Like, what
Were
did
you like,
say?
I just did that like the other day?
When I had COVID, it was everywhere. On the carpet. Like crawling to the bathroom.
Did you say like your vanity seat? Like Josh had to
Oh, that
scroll-
was not when I had COVID. That was another time. That's how you know he loves me too. In the car, everywhere. It happened everywhere.
It happens. It happens. It is when was the first time you shit yourself, Dave?
It just kind of sounds like Kristen does it like once a week.
I have IBS.
So basically, she does do it once a week.
I'm not even embarrassed of it anymore. I mean, probably because my husband's literally cleaned my shit up for me.
Well, yeah, and who else are you going to be embarrassed about it
I
with?
know.
You know what I mean?
So
It's
he's
true.
seen
You're
the
over it.
worst.
And it
When I-
really is just funny.
When I was really sick one time, it was an issue.
Just one time?
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually have IBS too.
You've never like trusted a fart?
Like it comes to the point where like I'll be like, oh no, you gotta get to the bathroom.
So what you're saying is your sphincter is
Oh yeah, I got that.
On.
I actually practice it.
IBS drills.
Just to be safe. what do they call women do those exercises?
Kegels.
Kegels, yeah.
pelvic floor exercises.
Yeah, I do that. I just do that, with the different hole.
Just clench, yeah, just clench it up. But no, you really will shit yourself. It's gonna happen if it already hasn't happened.
The time when I was sick, I mean, it was bad. Like not only did it happen while I had my pants on, but then I'm like in the bathroom and I'm like, because I was sick from both ends. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, you gotta
which-
decide.
Which
What
side
do
you-
I do
that's
here?
The worst.
Which
That is the
honestly,
worst.
I feel like okay, we'll just take
lay
a
in the
poll.
bathtub.
If you are both ends it's coming out of, which takes priority
You
on the toilet?
hold
the trash.
the
can,
trash
yeah.
while you're on.
Yeah.
That's hard to get to.
And even if there's no trash, I'd still rather clean up like
Yes.
the throw up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I
Because
did
if
throw up in the
not,
bathtub once.
Poop would make me like throw up. I think cleaning it up, the smell.
It's happened to me just
Can't
with
do it.
dogs.
Yeah, it does it to me, too.
Khaleesi was bad one time. I was trying not to smell it. And I have a big beard for those who don't know. And so I had tied a shirt around my face and I'm cleaning it up and then I still caught the whiff and just threw up into that shirt.
No.
And then it was all in my beard and it was a disaster. I shaved my beard.
Did you?
Yeah.
No coming back.
Does like
Nope, I couldn't
does
deal with it.
motherhood make you like stronger with stuff like that? Because I mean, you're literally like shit factory for a while.
Yeah, and it was
The
so
shittiest
weird.
episode.
The shittiest.
Of course,
episode.
I would be on this one.
IBS queen.
Wait, there's a few
Props.
people that are gonna listen to be like, "Yup, yes, I know exactly what they're talking about." Yup.
Well, Weston was at my mom's. This was like a couple months ago, and like, cause he's so young, he had one stomach bug once last year, and he said he knew he was going to throw up. He literally went into the bathroom over the toilet and threw up. Me and my mom couldn't believe it. Like, how did he know? Like, most kids would just vomit
Yeah.
wherever they were
Aw.
standing. He went in the bathroom and puked on the.
Wait, was
in
it
the
him
toilet.
that pooped in the pool?
Oh yeah.
He was sick though. He had the stump. Did he?
I thought he had COVID because I got COVID like right after. Like, he was having
I remember that.
issues. He was having
Aw, poor
diarrhea and
baby.
what, not in our pool, thank God, but someone else's. And then I had got COVID, so I was like, oh, I think he definitely had it. We never tested him because at that point they were like, I don't know, they were still saying kids don't really get that sick, like in the very beginning, but
And not that it's funny, but you had COVID twice.
yes. And when I had it early on, it was so embarrassing because
That's
I
when
was
it wasn't
shunned
real.
to my bedroom for 2 weeks away from my 2-year-old, and then everyone thought I had the plague, and then then they had to announce it on Facebook that we had our salon like professionally sanitized. They shut the salon down. Like, now it's like no big deal if someone gets it. I'm like, when I
Like,
had it, I think the anxiety was even worse because I was just like, I'm going to die, because that's what they tell you. Like, there was like 75 cases in our whole county, and I was one of them.
You did have it pretty early. Was it in like March?
May, when everything reopened.
Oh.
Oh, not May, sorry. Everything reopened in May. I got 6 weeks later. July 1st, I woke up sick. And I was sick until mid-August, I
Yeah.
think.
You were bad,
It
but
was
every
bad.
day it was so different for
I
you.
know.
And then you had the people that are like, "It's not real."
Or some
COVID's
people
not
didn't really
real.
get sick. So,
And we're like,
oh, I
"No."
know. Someone like, not someone, like a couple of people accused me of just being like, I think you have strep throat. I'm like, my throat doesn't even really hurt. Actually, the bowel issues were the worst because I think that was the weakest probably part of my body and it attacked it. I don't know.
So that's why people were buying all the toilet
I went
paper.
to the ER the second time I went 3 weeks in. What is that? what is that thing you get? Like, oh my god.
Colitis?
No.
I don't know.
Like a
gotta give me
stomach
more
thing?
No, you
context,
could
please.
literally die from it. It's like a.
Oh.
And they have to like wear hazmat suits around you. Like.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Lisa had it before.
It's
I
when
can never remember.
sepsis, but
No.
you get it's
No, you can go septic, and
but
that
it's
can kill
because you got
dysentery.
No.
no fuck.
I'm
Text
Googling
her,
it.
Google. We gotta do something.
You want to know what I'm Googling? Deadly diarrhea, because that's what they called it.
No, I know exactly what you're talking. Like,
Everyone Google.
I just
deadly
remember.
diarrhea.
I remember that because it's when I first started working with you guys, and Lisa was
How do you spell it?
like MIA. Like, wait, there's the feverish typing. Deadly.
I won't work on my.
Wait,
Oh,
listen.
C. diff. C. diff.
C. diff.
Oh.
Wait,
They were like, we think you have COVID and C.
I don't know how to
diff.
spell diarrhea.
wait,
That's
listen,
kind
wait.
of
I
embarrassing.
just have no. Listen, and I spell diarrhea a lot. I don't know, but I can't remember. So in my phone, I'm always
How
the
is
same
it not
thing.
showing already?
Right. Like what? It goes to deadly fish to eat. Come on, man.
Wait, deadly,
D-
DIAH, deadly fish to eat, fish, little inferno. What
Deadly-
the fuck? The
Deadly-
fish show, deadly fish show.
Deadly fish mods.
What is a deadly fish show? Oh, never mind. I
It
know.
was C. diff. I don't know why I can never
C.
remember
diff.
that. But they were like, I called my GI doctor in Pittsburgh, and it was over the weekend. Plus, nobody would see me in person, even though I had been sick for 3 weeks. I was past the 2-week mark, they were saying, but no one wanted me around them. So I was like, was on the toilet for like 5 straight hours, 6 hours, like couldn't stand up, like I was shaking. And they're like, it sounds like you have C. diff probably, so you should get tested for that. So I went to the ER. They retested me for COVID, even though I knew I already had it. Like, this is established. And they tested me for C. diff, but they were like, well, in the meantime, you can't take anything. Because if it's C. diff, you can't hold it in. So you can't take Imodium or anything.
Oh.
So, yeah. Well, I came back negative.
And
I
your
just had
was
COVID.
positive.
I just had COVID.
You're COVID positive.
I
No
was like, I
shit.
know. I know.
Oh fuck, that's so funny.
So I guess it had similar type of symptoms to C. diff. Like bad stomach pains and all that.
That was so awful. Now
But
we just
the
want to
one
go
thing
back
is,
to.
They say, like with C. diff, I don't know because I've never had it, but I guess it has a very distinct smell, like burning flesh or something. So they were like, well, does it smell like burning flesh when you guys? I can't smell anything. I have COVID. I can't smell.
But also, I mean, burning flesh. Do you know what burning flesh smells like?
Not really, just burning hair.
Yeah, I don't know what burning flesh smells
I
like.
don't know.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Oh.
a beautiful burn. So what you're saying is I should smell your hand, and then I'll know.
Well,
She said I wouldn't do that.
Josh just said, tell them we will buy a couple of Crystal's shirts. He must not know I already ordered one for myself because I'm so awful. And I was thinking, he's going to want one, but I should. Okay, so Josh wants a shirt.
Okay.
He would get so mad probably if I brought one home and he didn't.
Yeah, so we'll just plug that real quick. You know.
Yeah, because this episode's coming
Yeah,
out on
this
Tuesday.
episode
That's
will
good.
be out. It's Sunday night tonight, so this episode will be out Tuesday. So, Crystal, with her graphic design background, decided to make a new like logo for her personal training in the gym, and it's called Pumps and Pups. And the shirts that she made are like super cute. You can like find it on our social media, but she's going to be extending the sale for another week. So 100% of the profits are going to a rescue organization to help the animals that are displaced in the Ukraine right now. So
It's called You Animals. I'm going to post about it. So
if you're
yeah,
interested,
if you're interested.
grab a shirt. It's Tri-Blend, right? One of those
Yeah,
Tri-Blend real
it's a
sensory issue approved. And even if you don't want a t-shirt and you
should
just
make
want to
dog
donate.
That would be cute.
Barbisk.
But they're $25 if you're local, $30 if you need it shipped. And you can find the information on my page, CrystalG_coach.
Yeah, and if we get like,
Do you do toddler sizes?
yeah, you
I
probably,
probably
could.
If you do, I'll get one for Wes.
And then if
I'll ask them
dependent
if
on
they
like
can.
what the sales are, I mean, obviously like the animals are the first priority, but we'll be hopefully enough to choose.
Yeah, the more
Another-
quantity I can get pre-ordered, the less cost it will be overall, so more donation can go to them. So I'm trying to wait a week and see what kind of traction I get, so we can either split it between a few different causes, but primarily I was
Ukraine.
looking into that animals cause, and it's directly in Ukraine, so that's cool.
He loves his mother-in-law.
Aw, and she has a doggy, a Pomeranian. That's
Sophie.
Butters' girlfriend, we call, and that's why we say that's his
We really wish
mother-in-law.
that they
Look
could
at that
have made
face.
fictitious babies.
She's
'cause
so pretty.
Look at him.
Aw.
I think he
Well,
wants
we're
to go
wrapping
home.
things up.
Are we?
She always fights me. Yeah.
Are we wrapping things up? Okay, ask
Wrapping-
your question.
You ask it since I don't
No,
know.
absolutely not. Nope. I did the intro. Mm-mm. Ask the question.
One thing that happened in your life that you've learned from or grown from that can help other people out there. I'm going to make it simple, less wordy.
Should have gave me a heads up. I could have thought.
I think the obvious one is having something to do with shit in your
I wish we could title these like the shit episode.
Don't trust
The shit show.
Don't
The shit
trust the
show.
part, right?
The shit show with Kristen and O'Donnell.
No, whatever. Keep extra underwear with me.
Valuable life.
I don't want to be
information.
known for this.
It's. I mean, we're every single person in here has done it. More than Dave once somehow by the grace of God one time.
He's
exercise.
jinxing it.
Exercise sphincter.
He's doing it right now. Okay, I guess one thing. I don't know. That's like happened in my life. Does it have to be like
Anything. Something that's
I
taught
feel like
you
I can
something.
think of a lot of like things, but
We'll just pick one.
um,
It doesn't have to be the most
Pick
important
one. Pick
thing.
your top three.
yeah, I feel like
Raising a kid, getting married, anything like
mm,
something
Life
with
with
social media,
IBS.
like with IBS.
I mean, hold on.
A pause moment. Butter, any insight?
Stare
I
into
know,
her
right?
soul.
What has
butter.
Sophie taught you?
Pomeranians are bad.
Don't get a Pomeranian.
No, but I guess probably.
This is my favorite moment right now.
Great.
Does everyone else take a while to think
Yeah.
of stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, sounds cliche that I think like everything happens for a reason, but like sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone. So that's something I feel like I've just started doing. I hate to keep talking about the pandemic, but since the pandemic, like I know that if a situation makes me feel uncomfortable, it's a good thing because it means I'm growing. And if you're always too comfortable, then there's probably no growth. You know what I mean? Like going to teach these classes makes me feel a little bit nervous and uncomfortable, but I know that's the next step to making me
And
like-
not talking yourself out of it.
yeah,
or like,
to
yeah.
hitting my next goal, you know? And I don't know. I guess that's all.
That's
so.
good.
It's a good one.
So nervous, and that was one of the best ones.
I know, really. So profound. So profound.
I think it's just because that's why I've been feeling a lot lately. And with motherhood, too. Like, sending Weston to preschool next year makes me so nervous letting go. But one thing that Josh has always told me is, like, my fears can't hold him back. Not Josh, Wesson. Like, something makes me feel uncomfortable. I've been really trying to stop myself from letting him do stuff because it makes me uncomfortable.
I think that's great advice
Okay,
for parents.
Josh.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
So-
good one.
that's awesome.
I'm trying to keep my anxiety from going down the line.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for being a guest
Oh,
today.
thanks for having me.
And if you're not
past my
following,
bedtime.
it is
Yeah.
past your bedtime.
The time is
But if you're not
Oh, yeah.
following Kristen on social media, please
Plug
do
yourself.
so. Please do so.
at Kristen_O_beauty.
You get to see little snippets of everything. The stories are great. Or for like hair shit, seriously, you're gonna like she will show you how to do things. And like, subscribe, follow, blah, blah, all that shit. We appreciate
Thank you for listening.
And we'll see you next time.